Hello YouTube, I'm Natanis Likens. Today is March 13th. It is a Wednesday and it is 7:15-ish a.m. And I am leaving work. So give me 1 second. Pull out my spot. So today, the topic I want to kind of go over a little bit, or the topic I want to talk about is it's Pokemon. Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about Pokemon. I know, white beard and everything, and it's getting wider by the day. So we're doing a lot more Pokemon stuff on the channel currently, and it's about the only thing that I feel motivated to actually do, because with the Minecraft stuff, I've got plans and ideas for what I want to do, and right now it's not possible. Just not possible. End of story. So I felt like get back into Pokemon, do a few things there. Maybe eventually we'll get into Pixelmon, which will combine both Pokemon and Minecraft, and it won't interfere with the plans that I had for my ongoing Minecraft series. Yeah, that's what's going on there. And one of the things that I plan on doing here very soon is we are going to start up a playthrough of Scarlet, because you all have seen me at the end of the Violet content. I haven't quite beat the Till Disc DLC. We still got a little bit more to do on that. However, I've reached a stopping point where I need all the exclusives from Scarlet in order to fill out the decks to get the Shiny Charm in Violet. First time ever I'll have a Shiny Charm. Hopefully we can do that. And I do need some help with that, because I have no way of getting Palfin right now. And that one really requires like a second person or a friend or something in order to get that evolution. And I did notice that my camera is like falling here. So yeah, there we go. So that is coming. However, in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming Pokemon Legends ZA. There's some details that I think people have missed. And I've seen a lot of people, a lot of Pokemon Pokemon YouTubers talking about it, and they have missed something immensely. There seems to be this misconception that the Legends series is purely in the past. No, that's not the case, and I am getting absolutely blinded. And the reason that's not the case is we've only gotten one Legends game to date. We got Legends Arceus, which did happen in the past. Hisui, or is that Sinnoh? I don't remember off the top of my head. Plus, it's early, and I just got off work, or it's late, however you want to. So my brain's not all here. Anyway, so that game does happen in the past, and here's the details that I want to point out, and I'm going to like run some things by you and try to emphasize what it is I'm trying to get across here. So for Gen 9, I'm going to count Legends Arceus as Gen 9, not Gen 8. We get Legends Arceus first. That's the first one that come out. Okay, and then we get Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and the Paradox Pokemon that come with it. And the reason I want to make an emphasis on this is because Scarlet and Violet both deal with the idea of a wormhole that is connected to either the past or the future. And Scarlet is the one that is connected to the past. Violet is the one connected to the future. Here's what I want to point out to you. Legends Arceus came out before Scarlet and Violet. Okay? Before them. So, by the way that it was released, Legends Arceus came out in the past of Scarlet, because it came out before it. So it's in the past compared to Scarlet. Okay? Now, Legend ZA, the one that is just announced, is coming out after these. So technically, it is coming out in the future compared to Scarlet and Violet. More so Violet. Now, you may be thinking, oh, no, that's just the release order. Well, let me point out something to you. The trailer for Legend ZA starts off showing us like old drawings and art style on what looks like parchment, okay? And it almost has a quality of it that looks like something that Da Vinci would have drawn or possibly even painted, and my camera is like going down even further. So, but then it shifts. The whole imagery of it starts shifting and becomes a little more modern, a little more sophisticated, and then we get what almost feels like a digital world with digital Pokemon running around. It's very, very futuristic looking at that point with all the imagery that is going on there. So I think what they have done is there's the two Legends games are exactly the same as Scarlet and Violet, in that we got one that deals with the past, one that's going to deal with the future. And that's interesting to me, because a lot of people seem to think that it's just going to be another game set in the past, and a lot of people have said that it's going to deal with the building of Luminous City. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the message it's trying to get across. I think what it is we're going to the future of Luminous City. Like, I know as far as order for remakes, we are supposed to be getting Black and White up next. I got a feeling they're probably done with remakes. I don't know that for sure, but I got a feeling they're probably done with doing remakes. And that's part of the marketing for these games, is that Legends Arceus and Scarlet deals with the past of Pokemon, and Violet and ZA deal with the future of Pokemon. So they're trying to tell us that they're saving things and trying to keep the feel of Pokemon from the previous generations, but also they're looking towards the future on what they can do with the series. I think that's what's going on. And to that point, I also think that Legends Arceus was a test run of whatever engine they are using for open world gameplay in a Pokemon game. And my reasoning for that is, in Sword and Shield, we did get a little bit of an open world feel to it. However, you couldn't do some of the things that you can do in Arceus, and even some of that got removed for Scarlet and Violet. I do think that was a misstep. They should have kept some of the mechanics of Arceus, like being able to throw out the Pokeballs in real time. Would have been nice to have kept. Not sure why they did that. It may come back in ZA if I'm right about them looking towards the future and trying to build on things. I think the entire thing is all about, moving forward while still trying to keep Pokemon recognizable as Pokemon. The other thing is, I feel like the fact that there seems to be a big focus on Luminous City. Before I get there, there's been a lot of articles online talking about the game, which doesn't make much sense to me, because it almost feels like they've already played the whole game. That doesn't seem right. I don't think they're that far into development for them to be releasing, hey, this is what the game is going to be. But one of the things that is being said is that the game is going to be completely within the city. Okay, so I don't know if that's going to be true or not. However, I feel like if they are doing an entire game within one little city, which some games have done, okay, don't get me wrong on that, but that's not something Pokemon has ever done. And Pokemon in all of its variations have been about exploring an entire region. However, depending on how big they make the city, and this is where I'm thinking they're looking at the future. If you go back and you look at any previous Pokemon game, there's a couple of issues I have in all of them regarding one particular aspect. Cities. Cities always feel way too small with way too few places for people to actually live. Luminos City in the original X and Y was the first time that I felt like this is a full-on city. There is an argument to be made for the one in black and white, though I don't remember what that city is called. However, that one was a little less explorable, while the one in X and Y was a lot more explorable. Like, there was a lot more places you could go around and look at and interact with and everything, and it really felt like a city, albeit it felt like one that was in the middle of nowhere, and that's one of my biggest problems with Scarlet and Violet is these towns and cities are just they're just in the middle of nowhere. They don't feel like they are part of a region. They just feel like random campsites in a huge wilderness. In fact, in a huge wilderness that is pretty dang sparse. That's one of the things that I felt like Arceus did a lot better. Even though it's got a confined space, it felt like they were able to shove enough clutter in there to make it feel like that it's not completely empty, while also making it feel like we're in the wilderness. Scarlet and Violet is horrible at that. Go and play the game for a little while and look around and just ask yourself, where are all the trees? Like, seriously, where are all the trees? Usually in any Pokemon game, there's at least one area where you are in the thick of a wilderness, walking around. The best comparison I have for that in Scarlet and Violet is when you get to the bamboo forest. Okay, I just saw that the camera's all the way down, so I'm gonna try and push it up a little bit. Yeah, the best comparison I can give you as far as like a forest is when you get to that bamboo forest. That's about the best it gets as far as like earthy clutter. Like, even while I'm driving around here, there's trees everywhere. Like, there's enough trees there that you probably couldn't walk through that area. I mean, you probably could, but my point is that Scarlet and Violet are very sparse as far as what is on the terrain. Like, there's hardly nothing. Yeah, there's Pokemon everywhere, and the terrain actually does move everywhere, but as far as like actual grass and trees, it's mostly barren. I mean, it's not, if you go to the two like three desert-like areas in the game, it feels no different than any other area except for the color. That's just my personal opinion, but the games are just too sparse. I feel like ZA, with this idea of making a full-on city, they could make a very big game happen inside of a city, or they could make a Pokemon game happen completely in the city if they made the city big enough. I mean, I want you to stop right now and think about where you live. Not so much of the area, but I want you to think about Pokemon Go with the area you live. Like, there's quite a bit of area to cover there, especially if you've got a major city close by. I wouldn't exactly call ours a major city, but that's because I live here. And about the only claim to fame this town has is we got made fun of in Iron Man 3. That's the biggest claim to fame we have. Now, with that being said, there is still a possibility that we will be leaving the city to go out into the region as a whole and visit Kalos. Oddly out of sequence, but again, I feel like the Legends games are them trying to tell us, hey, we're working on the future of the game series, and we are done doing remakes. Because I do believe that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were the least popular remakes of all the remakes. I really want to say that those two made the least amount of money of all the remakes. Don't hold me to that, and definitely leave me a comment down below letting me know if I'm right or wrong on that. I don't actually know. I feel like those were the worst money makers of all the remakes, and the Pokemon company is like, okay, we're done with this. We need to move on. We need to look towards the future of what we're going to do with the series. With that being said, I really, really, really hope they bring back actual costumes, because I hate the school uniforms of Scarlet and Violet. I hate them with a passion. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, it's absolutely ludicrous to me that we are stuck in school uniforms in those games, and the female school uniform does not include a skirt. It is actually a suit and tie for both characters. It is extremely androgynous, and we're going to try and stop at that right there. I've already done that spiel a couple of times now in videos, in my live streams, but I hate it. I dislike the costumes in Scarlet and Violet. Like, it is probably the worst version of outfits we've gotten in any other game, and that's saying something, because both Scarlet and Violet and the Let's Go Scarlet and Violet, Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond also had like very lackluster outfits. Like, you got a set outfit that you could change. Well, granted, we still got something that we could change and they were decent, but I was very disappointed they weren't very detail oriented like some of the others. The Let's Go games, same thing. You don't really, you get just a base outfit that you can change. That also changes your partner's hat, so that your partner being Eevee or Pikachu. Same deal as the popularity of Diamond and Pearl. Don't hold me to that. Let me know down in the comments if I'm actually right. It's been a while since I even tried to play Let's Go Eevee, because if you don't know, I am an Eevee fanatic. I love Eevee. I love all the evolutions except for Flareon. I'll use any other fire except for Flareon. Which actually brings up a point we need to talk about. So the future of streaming Pokemon. I did briefly mention that I wanted to do a team theme run of Scarlet. And we're working on that right now. We are going to do an evolution run of the game. So I'm going to use nothing but evolutions. I think our team is going to start off with just Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon, Umbreon, Espeon, and Sylveon. I will have Leafeon and Glaceon in backup. I don't think I'll really use them. Okay, because Ice is such a glass cannon that it's usually not even worth running. Having coverage moves is different. But Ice is too much of a glass cannon, so I don't think we'll actually use Glaceon, even though there is an argument to be made that it is one of my favorite evolutions. Leafeon, okay, I hate grass types, period. Grass types to me are an absolute waste of a team slot, in my opinion. And our camera fell over again. Okay, so let me explain that a little bit, because I get so tired of people like Pokemon YouTubers telling you that you should use the grass starter for blah blah blah. No, grass anything is horrible. And here's why. So grass types are only good against water, rock, and ground. Okay? Water, rock, and ground. Those three. Those are the three that a grass type is actually good against. We're not going to talk about Sprigato, because it ends up being a grass dark, which is slightly different, but it's also kind of pathetic still. Anyway, so that is the three that it is good against. Well, the problem with that is if you get a water type, you're already covering two of those. You're covering the ground and the rock. Then you get to cover fire. So you've basically covered exactly what grass has right there. As far as covering for water, go with an electric type. For two reasons. One, every single game, for whatever reason, has a sequence that you're going to have to deal with water. Scarlet and Violet really doesn't have an area that you have to deal with any kind of water, but because you do occasionally have to cross rivers, and the only way to get up and out of them is by finding entry points, it is kind of handy to have a Pokemon for dealing with water types. Usually for me, that is an electric type. I think it's a lot better at dealing with water than grass ever will be. The other thing is covering flying types. Flying types are one of the most annoying and numerous Pokemon you will find. Probably the only two that you will see more of is Bug and Grass. Yeah, so you'll see a lot of Bug, you'll see a lot of Grass, but we're not dealing with that. So with your electric type, you're going to cover two more types. So all in all, with just two Pokemon, you're covering 5 types that had an overlap with grass. Then there's the problem of grass's weaknesses. Alright? Grass's weaknesses include, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It was poison, bug, and fire, I believe. Bug. You're telling me that this type is weak to the weakest type in the game. According to everybody else, Bug is the weakest type of the game. Well, I kind of disagree with that because, you know, Bug is very good against Psychic, and Dark. So there is an argument to be made for having a bug type on your team, especially if it's Scyther. As far as like actual bug type moves, there is a problem there. And if you're playing Gen 8, if you're playing Sword and Shield, I definitely suggest having an Ore Beetle on your team. Those things are amazing, and I absolutely love their Gigantamax. But yeah, grass types, it's the one type in the entire game that I have a very hard time justifying using, period. The only reason I really use Sprigarito is I don't like any of the starters. We've said this in multiple videos. I don't like any of those starters. They're all garbage. Sprigarito, in its first stage, the Sprigarito stage, is absolutely adorable. Yes, it's very cold outside. I don't know why it's so cold outside. Anyway, yeah, it is adorable, and that's the only reason why I got it. I don't like the other two. I get tired of people talking about how cool Quaxly is and how unique Quaxly is, because it's like the fourth freaking water duck we've gotten in the game. Shut up. It's a water duck. How unoriginal is that? Yes, we have a lot of cats, but two of them are just normal type. One of them, I believe, is also fairy, and then we've got one that has a regional form of being either steel or dark, which, yes, I am counting Meowth as a cat, because technically it is a cat. And then we've got Litten, who is a fire type, and Litten's fine. I don't care about its other two stages. Incineroar is just ugly as sin. But the fact of the matter is we got cats in multiple types. And I know people are like, it's a cat, whoop-de-doo. I don't think you fully understand that we've got 4 ducks that are all water. All of them. Every single duck we have gotten is water type. Quaxly is not impressive to me. It is the most unoriginal Pokemon of the 3. Fuecoco being a fire, I don't know if it's supposed to be a crocodile or an alligator, but that's kind of interesting and unique. I mean, we already have 2 other crocodile/alligators, but one is a dark type, a ground dark type, and the other one is a water type. And then Fuecoco is a fire type. So that's interesting. We got 3 different types of alligator or crocodile with 3 different types. Again, Quaxly is the most unimpressive, unoriginal of the 3. I get tired of people saying it's the best. It's not. You're stupid as hell if you think that's the most amazing one. Yeah, there's so many water ducks in the game. I'm just like, come on, could you not have come up with something better? At least with the other 2, we got something interesting, like a grass cat and a fire crocodile or alligator, whichever. And you know what? I completely forgot where that was even going. I went off on such a huge tangent. We were talking about my dislike of grass types. So, yeah, not a huge fan of grass types. Leafeon. Okay, I love the design of Leafeon. It is amazing and is probably one of my favorite designs of any Pokemon. However, again, I can't, it's a grass type. I can't justify using a grass type. I really can't. Especially if we've got Jolteon and Vaporeon, which covers everything that Leafeon would have and more. So I don't see me using Leafeon. except maybe to just have it on my team because I do think it is a really cool looking Pokemon. I will admit there are some grass types that I do think are really cool. There are some bug types that I think are really cool. I just can't see a reason to actually use them. And this is constant. There's so many Pokemon that I actually like that I just cannot justify using. One of those is definitely of all the grass starters, pretty much any of the ones that I actually do like, it's the same deal. I can't justify using them because grass, whoop-de-doo. And what really brings that on is, was it PM7? No, I think it was Mikey. Just put out a video of him playing Fire Red, but he cannot change moves. So once a Pokemon has 4 moves, he can't change them. And he starts beating that old bush again about how he thinks Bulbasaur is the absolute best for a playthrough. And I want to point out to anybody out there, he abandons Venusaur midway through the playthrough. Yeah, how is a starter the best possible starter if you abandon it for other Pokemon? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I will admit, up against Brock and Misty, the two of them, yes, Bulbasaur is better than either Squirtle or Charmander. But that's it. That's literally the only time you're going to get any actual usefulness out of a Bulbasaur, is on those first 2 gym leaders. That's it. And his reasoning is that your choices for Pokemon that early are so limited that you need to take the best starter to go up against the first few gyms. I'm the exact opposite. I'd rather have something that is going to work better for me into the late game. And the early game I don't care about, because usually most of everything you deal with is pretty dang weak. They are the powerhouses that they are at higher levels. So, whoop-de-doo. But yeah, that's my rant for today, and I do want to say a thank you to everybody out there that has subscribed. I did notice today that we are over 50. We were at 51. We broke 50 subscribers. I am a little disappointed because it took a year and a half and over 200 videos to break 50, whereas I've seen people break 10,000 in under 100 videos within a few months. But yes, we did it. We broke 50. I never thought we would actually break 50, so I'm very happy about that. Thank you all, and thank you for sticking with me through what I'm calling the dark portion of my channel. And I have got to get back inside, so I will see you guys later. Please leave a comment down below if you agree with anything I said. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys later. Bye.